Strike Studio presents.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your favorite podcasting person. I still haven't come up with something for you folks. Welcome to Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. We are live in living color right here on YouTube. Maybe you're listening to me on iTunes, Podbean, soon to be Twitch TV. Once again, we're doing it in every single format we can, folks, because we are expanding to even further destinations, soon to be revealed to you. We are not going to be doing the show from this location anymore, but for now, let's talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling and stuff. Once again, we're going to be talking about, folks, all kinds of activities that are taking place in the world of pro wrestling. COVID-19 still around. As you can see, I'm not wearing my mask. I just got done working out, actually. Hopefully, I'm not too out of it when it comes to my looks here. I'm very handsome, I know. So once again, folks, we're going to be talking today about the world of pro wrestling, the current product. What can I tell you about it? It's really still lacking in all ways. We can tell you right now, we've been watching AEW. We've been watching Monday Night Raw through fast forward. Only specific matches, only specific things, like the Nature Boy, woo, Ric Flair. He was just on Monday Night Raw this past week to proclaim the greatest wrestler ever, Randy Orton. Coming from the Nature Boy. Do you hear me, folks? Ric Flair praised his former Evolution member. I've always been a fan. Randy Orton was the first actual autograph signing I promoted when I worked for my independent wrestling company back in the day, okay? That was the first guy. I took flyers and went around town because that's what I was instructed to do, folks, for no money. Anyways, because there's a lot of shady people in the world, I'll tell you that much. But I did it because I have the love for professional wrestling. Maybe gave me $20 for gas. I take that back. Anyways, I did whatever it took to get noticed in pro wrestling. And what I did was I promoted Randy Orton, the very first autograph session that I ever promoted back in 2003, folks. I'm very happy to say I met him even when he shows up after I did all the promoting to let him know, hey, Mr. Orton, nice to meet you. I actually promoted you. Oh, thank you very much. He smiled. He said, thank you. He was a young guy in the business too, but I'm sure he would be the same respectful Randy Orton in 2020. And I can assure you folks, I have had the most influential, great people talking about me, okay, in a very high regard. And I can tell you, these are individuals that have made it above and beyond in professional wrestling. So I appreciate respect. You put it forward, you get it back. And by the way, folks, we are doing the TikTok dance again. Tick-tock, whatever. Tick-tock, whatever. Tick-tock, whatever. So once again, folks, this is going to be trending all over the world now. I know it. It probably won't. Anyways, all I know is that we're back to focus. The reason why we're back to focus is because we're going to be talking about the final installment of the Undertaker series. Now, I don't want to go too far about Ric Flair and all that because this is going to be focused on the Undertaker, but it just is amazing that Ric Flair was giving so much praise to Randy Orton, and then the Big Show comes out, and it was very anticlimactic. They confronted each other. He was like acting like he was going to do something to Ric. But you know what? Ric Flair, even at 70 plus years old, he even was kind of smirking a little bit to the point of like, I don't feel like Ric feels comfortable out there because he's not there week after week. I want to see the arrogant Ric Flair. I don't know if he has that in him anymore, folks. But I can tell you, the professional wrestling, even when they grab the older individuals, like Ric Flair, Big Show, Randy Orton, it still lacks. There's no audience even. The energy, even though baseball's back. I just found out baseball's back. 60 games, folks. The world champion Oakland A's, baby. All this is coming back. What we're doing right now, though, is we're trying to understand COVID-19. What are we going to do about this? Are we ever going to have 20,000 people in the arena? Is AEW going to keep that momentum that they had when they first started a year ago? But now it seems like, what's going on? Chris Jericho, Mike Tyson. It really hasn't been addressed anymore. What's going on? Why is it that we can't have consistency in wrestling, folks? I think that's what it's lacking the most. Consistency, folks. It's like me doing a show for you every week. I give you more and more Larry's new wrestling podcast. But I need you, the fan, the connoisseur, the consumer. You need to say something. Voice yourselves. Do something. Start these platforms saying, we want wrestling back. Do something, folks. We all have to do something to make wrestling great again. I know that's cliche, but that's what we're trying to do here. We want pro wrestling to be on the level that it was. The Undertaker, he retired. We watched the season finale. Folks, I have to start to focus because right now, I'll tell you, as the sun sets this evening, I'm doing a show right here, late in California. And I'll tell you right now, we are doing a show for you about The Undertaker, the last ride, the finale, the revelation. That's what it's called, folks. He finally realizes maybe it is time to step away. We go back to Saudi Arabia. Actually, I take it back. We go back to Extreme Rules right after the Saudi Arabia debacle with DX and the Brothers of Destruction. And now we fast forward to Extreme Rules in 2019 where he actually has a great match, a tag team match. Shane O'Mac, Drew McIntyre versus The Undertaker and Roman Reigns. Great match. And he leaves on a high note. Michael Cole even praised him. It's the best he's ever looked in a long time and ever, forever, whatever way he voiced it. He did it, folks. He could have just ridden off into the sunset. He even tells Vince McMahon backstage, I'm done. He feels it. You know what? He had beat John Cena in a quick match. He still didn't have the right send-off. Madison Square Garden, he said goodbye. He did what he could to feel that heartfelt feeling of thank you, Madison Square Garden. Following that, he wanted everyone to know that he appreciated their loyalty. He wanted everyone to know that he's done as much as he can for this business, but it's time to leave. Then, one thing that he thinks about is what could I do maybe with AJ Styles, folks? Yes, the phenomenal one. AJ Styles, even at his age, 42 years old, or as some people might say, 42 years young, how can AJ Styles, who came to the WWE from Impact Wrestling, even started out in WCW way back when in 2000, somewhere in that time frame, and never was utilized there, and made a transition to Jeff Jarrett's TNA Wrestling, where he ended up evolving in a six-sided ring, not even the four-sided ring, folks, the six-sided ring, because they wanted to be different. So he did that. He worked at TNA. He never went to the World Wrestling Federation. He never went to WWE. Why? Because he was building a brand, like we're building this brand right here, Larry's new wrestling podcast from Lightning Strike Studios, folks. We're bringing you so much more very soon. I'm not going to get off focus. We have to stay on focus. The Undertaker, the brand, The Undertaker, the Phenom, since Survivor Series 1990, where he debuted with Brother Love, when the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, yeah, you know that guy? He was the one who introduced The Undertaker from parts unknown, wherever that is, folks. We have no idea where it is till this day. Parts unknown. That's where the Ultimate Warrior was from. Someday, we're going to find out where Parts Unknown is, and we're going to mail all our hate mail to that address. Parts unknown. Folks, back to focus. This is what we're talking about. The Undertaker, the Phenom, versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36 this year, which was a boneyard match. Nobody even knew what that was, folks. It was just brought to our attention where AJ Styles is ripping the crap out of The Undertaker by degrading his wife, saying that he's doing these interviews and he's basically showing the real Undertaker. Now, like I said, the curtain's up, folks. It's not. We know The Undertaker had the American Badass persona. And in this documentary, we see that back during the Attitude Era, The Undertaker was basically the American Badass who went around like Hulk Hogan with an American flag and a motorcycle and a Harley Davidson coming down to the ring. And we see his debut where he whoops DX, everyone DX, from X-Pac, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and Hunter. All that, he opened a can of whoop-ass in the ring as this new gimmick character. Folks, all this took place back in the early 2000s. during the transitional time in wrestling called the Attitude Era, or just maybe right after it, the Ruthless Aggression Era. And that transitional time frame between the late 90s, which was the Attitude Era, into the Ruthless Aggression Era. In that time frame, folks, we had a brand new Undertaker. Something we'd never seen before. Some character that we felt was different but same. Because the Undertaker was still showing that mystique of dominance. But he wasn't, oh yes, Undertaker. He was like, I'm going to whoop your ass. That type of thing. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. That was his theme. He even had Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit. Okay? Keep rolling, I used to do that with it. You know what I'm saying? Because hands up, hands down, back up, back up. That was his, keep rolling, rolling, rolling. It's a horrible way of showing you folks the song, but you know what? That's what you get on Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. We're talking about stuff, folks, because the reason why, we have to. It's our right. Our freedom of speech, folks, in this beautiful country called America, as the American badass was waving his flag, and we transitioned back to the future. Not Marty McFly and Christopher Lloyd's Back to the Future, the Dr. Emmett Barron. Marty! But, folks, I'll tell you right now, that was my doc, by the way. We are showing you that The Undertaker in 2020 even does a promo where it kind of alludes to maybe the American badass coming back. But the promo also led us to believe he says, rest in peace, in the same promo. Confusion. Maybe we're going to see the American badass, or maybe not. That's what we're trying to do. Then, COVID-19, which I'm calling now COVID-27 because I just upgraded it, is now taken over. WrestleMania is about to be canceled, folks. They're supposed to be in Tampa Bay, Florida. Raymond James Stadium, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. That's where they're supposed to hold WrestleMania in front of 70 to 80,000 people. Undertaker finally agrees to the match. He wasn't too sure at first, but he decided, you know, I'm going to see, am I in shape? He does it again, folks. He gets in game shape. He even kids AJ Styles and pretends that he's going to do it with someone else. They call it a rib, folks. They rib him. Okay? I guess in the ribs to make you laugh. Haha. I don't know. They just call it a rib. So he ribs AJ Styles, convincing him, and AJ's like, no, you never got me. I knew you were going to pick me. And Undertaker fights AJ Styles in a boneyard match, folks. And this boneyard match is really good. I loved it. Cinematic. So proper, though. Not like this other crap they're doing right now with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. I'm not going to get into it because it sucks. It's like music and fighting. It's not real fighting. It's very cartoony. If you want to be on Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, kids, that's where you go do that stuff. But not in live arenas. Now, because they have no audience, they think they can be creative. But this match, in the middle of nowhere, very ominous. They even show you the construction process during this documentary, folks. They show us how they brought this to life, because Triple H was one of the producers, so was Michael P.S. Hayes, and they went there. And during all this development of storyline and doing the show, folks, The Undertaker's brother passes away. So how is it he's about to have a match? He's The Undertaker. He's about to bury this guy in like a cemetery boneyard type situation, and he can't even be there for his own brother's funeral, I believe. I don't know if he even went to the funeral because of the fact that WrestleMania fell around the time he passed away. I don't know. Honestly, they don't even discuss that much. They just say that, look, he made the sacrifice once again, leaving family, leaving everything that's most important right now as the career is winding down. Not being around your children, not being around the people you love for the sake of the wrestling fans, folks. That is what The Undertaker did for us in this episode, we notice. If this is the finale, which I think it truly is, because he even says, well, if Vince asked me to come back, I'll most likely do it. That's The Undertaker, folks. That is the Phenom. That is the man who we watched during this 5-part series, which I recommend, if you can find a way to watch it, just subscribe to the network, folks. $9.99. It's well worth it if you're a wrestling fan. And even if you're not a wrestling fan, guess what? You will be. And you'll also appreciate the human side of The Undertaker. We know the Phenom. Even Mick Foley says, I never knew him as Mark Calloway. But this is what Undertaker says during this documentary. WrestleMania. He's going to bring Mark Calloway. He's going to bring the Undertaker character. And he's going to bring also something special to the table. a chance for us to experience every single facet of this character. The human side to the gimmick side. He's going to give us everything, folks, because that's The Undertaker. The sacrifice he made with the surgeries, the sacrifice he makes with everything he's done for the sport. And I call it a sport, folks, because it is physical. I have permanent hearing damage in one ear that I hear vaguely all the time, even right now, called tinnitus, from taking a guitar shot to the head for this business. Even though I did it on the independent scale, I did it. And the reason why I did it, folks, because I love professional wrestling. I did it because this business means so much to me. That's why I bring you this show week after week as we talk about wrestling and stuff. Because COVID-19, baseball, the state of the world, the racism, the negativity that's happening right now in our country, folks, all this is why we do this show for you week after week after week, folks, because we love professional wrestling. We want you to know we love you as people that subscribe on iTunes, that people that subscribe on YouTube, that you join me on Facebook and find my page on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Larry Lawrence Podcast. Okay, once again, TikTok, whatever. We're going to be doing this, folks, every week for you. Why? Because Lightning Strike Studios wants to present you with something special. It wants to present you with a new revolutionary podcast. One that you can even do from the front seat of an SUV on the passenger side. Why? Because we can, folks. Because we're going to be going to a studio very soon. In parts unknown. No, I'm kidding. It's somewhere in the U.S. Even though I have a passport. But we're going to be doing it, folks, month after month, week after week. And we're going to continue to bring you the great product that we do every week because we love you, the wrestling fan. We love you, human beings. We love respect because Randy Orton gave it to me. And every wrestler I encountered over the years, I've respected. And if I disrespected you, I apologize. I feel like independent wrestlers hated me because I used to bring my A game as a chic manager. So they hated me. Yes, I was hated backstage for being a performer, an artiste, someone who stepped up. If your match sucks, Bobby the Heenan says it best. If you listen to me, you go straight to the top. If you don't listen to me, you're never heard from ever again. Well, guess what, folks? Andre and Bobby were great. Undertaker, Paul Bearer, they were great. But the Undertaker rides off into the sunset as we have one right behind us here, folks. A sunset. It means maybe it is time for the Undertaker to call it a quits at the age of 55. He's given enough to this business, folks. He's given enough to us, the wrestling fan. There's nothing else to prove. If I never see the Undertaker in a match, physically in person or online or on TV, wherever I find it, I am never going to say, you didn't give us all of your personality. All of us would never, ever regret never seeing the Undertaker again, I would think. There's been endless send-offs, thank yous from Kevin Nash to you name it. Every single name that's ever worked or not worked with the Undertaker, well-wishers. Probably non-entertainment related also, wishing this Undertaker character, thank you for all his sacrifices, all his giving to the business of professional wrestling. And I'm going to say it right now, without doing that stupid chant. Thank you, Undertaker, for everything you've given me since my young days. Survivor Series 1990. I didn't appreciate your character and your gimmick as much as I should have over the years. But you know what? I will never do that ever again. And I appreciate your forgiveness as a guy who knows that not every wrestling fan loves scary, eerie death. Because death can be scary, folks. Trust me, I don't want to die. A lot of us don't. Because guess what? When you're dead, you're dead. I always come with thought-provoking things here on this show, folks. Yes, when you're dead. Just like Drago said, if he dies, he dies. That was my horrible Drago from Rocky IV, folks. Not the Four Horsemen. Woo! But I'll tell you right now, For those that have never watched an Undertaker match, please go online, subscribe to the network, check out WrestleMania 25, The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, a classic. Jim Ross says probably the best match he's ever called. So that tells you what The Undertaker has given to the sport of professional wrestling. What I've given to the podcast world is this. I'm sorry, but that's what we've given you folks. But I'll tell you right now, I hope you tune in week after week and enjoy the TikTok dance. Whatever. No. What's not whatever is The Undertaker and what he's done for the sport. Not just sports entertainment, folks. For professional wrestling. Folks, we're going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you for tuning in. We do this week after week, month after month for you. Please subscribe. We're going to have some cash apps for you, folks. Venmos, to you name it. Please, if you'd like to email us with questions, LARRYLAWRENCE0925 @yahoo.com. Send us your questions, requests. Maybe we're going to be bringing you some more excitement with actual Zoom, folks. We're going to be Zooming with persons, wrestlers, entertainers. We're going to be doing this in the upcoming months, folks. This is a work in progress. We love you. We thank you once again for tuning in to the latest and greatest, in my opinion, podcast in the history of podcast. And we're going to continue to do it for you. And once again, thank you, Undertaker, for your sacrifice to the business. At 55 years young, I wish you health, happiness, and I know we're going to continue to enjoy your matches on the network. And wherever we can find them on YouTube, wherever we can find them, folks, we will find them. And we will always enjoy the Phenom, The Undertaker. Woo, yes! We'll see you next time, folks, on iTunes. You'll listen to us. We'll see you on YouTube, Podbean, Twitch TV, hopefully. Please subscribe to Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at Larry Lawrence Podcast. And I'll tell you, folks, we're doing it for you week after week after week because we love you. We appreciate your loyalty. And do you smell it? No, we'll talk about maybe him next time. I don't know. Why not? You never know what you're going to get on the show, folks. You're going to get this. Larry Lawrence. The name's so nice. They named him twice. Thank you for tuning in to Larry's new wrestling podcast and stuff. Okay, bye-bye now.